Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Dio here with the first 10 turns guide for Throt the Unclean on the very hard difficulty in Mortal Empires. This guide was voted for by our subscribers, so if you'd like to have a say on what I cover next, be sure to keep an eye out for polls I will frequently run on my community tab. But anyway, without further ado, let's get to it. Before you do anything else, head into the Flesh Laboratory. Legend of Total War has come up with a strategy to unlock the Cellular Instability Augment on turn 1, and while this isn't exactly necessary, it will make this campaign start much easier. I've linked Legend's video and timestamp down below where he explains the process and how the Flesh Laboratory actually works, so check that out if you want to know more. We simply want to use the Wolf Rats to experiment on in order to unlock the Augment, which you will need to unlock before they get to tier 4 instability. If this doesn't work for you, you can restart the campaign and try again. Believe me, it's worth it. Once unlocked, you want to apply this augment to the Mutant Rat Ogre. Again, there is a 10% chance on gaining instability, but you can simply reload the save and try again. You should also recycle the Wolf Rats and turn them into growth juice when you are done. Now that that's out of the way, move your Packmaster hero into Throt's army and attack the Dwarven settlement. You should fight this manually to avoid too many casualties. You'll want to start the battle by charging your Mutant Rat Ogre into the enemy lines and use your cellular instability to do some serious damage. Don't forget that Throt can summon a unit of Rat Ogres, so make sure to use this as much as possible. The rest of the battle is pretty simple. Just surround the enemy completely and use your Wolf Rat and Rat Ogres to flank. Once the enemy is surrounded, army losses will kick in very quickly for an easy win. After the battle, sack the settlement and grab Root Marcher on Throt and Tail Weapon on your Packmaster. Begin researching ferocious plants in your tech tree. Demolish the breeding stock building in Hellpit and set the province commandment to exploitative planning for extra food. Attack and sack the settlement again. You can easily auto-resolve these from now on. Then set Throt's stance to raiding for extra food and grab Ancient Cunning on Throt and Hard to Hit on your Packmaster. Attack and sack the settlement one last time. Grab Ancient Cunning on Throt and Hard to Hit on your Packmaster. Then begin researching driven by hunger in your tech tree. Recruit a random lord in Hellpit to recolonize it at tier 4 next turn and then abandon your capital. Attack the Dwarven settlement and this time occupy it, but do not spend any food on occupying it at a higher tier. Grab Ancient Cunning on Throt and Tide of Pox on your Packmaster. Recruit 4 Slinger units into Throt's army and recolonize Hellpit at tier 4 with your new lord. Once again, you'll require 80 food to do this. Then you can disband your new lord. Set Hellpit's commandment to expansionist planning and only build lower levels of Hellpit and weapons dump for now to save money. Switch Throt to use Underway and hopping over to Hellpit for now. Now that your commandment has kicked in, you can start building up Hellpit. I tend to go for Exotic Animal Tamer, Rattling Warrens, Taskmaster's Platform, Arcane Generators, and Pox Cauldron. Lastly, head into the diplomacy screen and establish a non-aggression and trade agreement with Varg Clan. Do not make any agreements with the Wintertooth just yet, as you may need to declare war of them later on. Begin this turn by recruiting 4 Wolfire Throwers into Throt's army and upgrade the Rattling Warrens in your capital. On turn 7, the pesky dwarves will likely jump over to your settlement here. Switch Throt to use Underway stance and hop him over to defend your settlement. Begin researching ruthless plants into harsh production quotas for food generation and growth. Upgrade your exotic animal pens for extra food and growth juice before ending your turn. The dwarf army will likely retreat, so begin moving towards the next settlement. Upgrade your growth building once again before moving on. On turn 9, you should have accumulated at least 800 growth juice to claim growth vat monsters with. I recommend you always claim at 800 to have guaranteed brood horror spawns, as they are amazing with cellular instability. Claim your growth vat monsters and recruit any brood horrors you have gained. Then go back into the Flesh Laboratory and augment all of your new brood horrors with cellular instability. Now that you have your living bombs ready, go attack the dwarven army in their settlement. This will be your first big battle and you should fight this manually. To start this battle off, spawn your Tide of Pox to chase down the enemy artillery. The AI will be reforming their lines, leaving their artillery vulnerable for a little while. Once their artillery is gone, you can then focus their ranged units. Charge your monster units with cellular instability into the enemy ranks, and look for the biggest blobs of dwarves to blow up before moving your monsters back towards your own army to prevent them from dying. Don't forget to use your spawns to help out where you need it and to bog down enemy ranged units. Other than that, make sure you have gaps in your front line for your Warpfire Throwers to do their thing and keep them safe at all costs. It can be a very messy battle, but if you do that, they will win the rest of the battle for you. After the battle, occupy the settlement and grab Looter on Throt and Tide of Death on your Packmaster. You can now also build a construction cavern in Hellpit. Switch Throt to use Underway stance and hop him over to crack a drag. You should have received quite a bit of money this turn, so spend it on upgrading the buildings in your capital city. And that's it, the first 10 turns for Throt the Unclean on the very hard difficulty in Mortal Empires. For monster augments besides cellular instability, the following 2 are very good to use as well, and I try to have them on all of my units. Expansion isn't very important for Throt, as most of his victory conditions are linked to the Flesh Laboratory upgrades, but I personally like to make friends and trading partners with the Norskins and focus on sacking and expanding the Kislevite lands in the south. If you're looking for a quick campaign victory, focus on the Flesh Laboratory upgrades ASAP, and you could win the short campaign in under 50 turns. If you like this guide, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more guides like this one. I've got another poll going on my channel as this video goes live, so don't forget to vote if you'd like to have a say in what I cover next. See you next time. Toodles.